Well, a good day for us in here today. Great crowd. Even though the students are on spring break, can't thank our fans enough. There's very few places that can duplicate that environment for our guys. And thought we fed off it, got off to a great start. Jawan was terrific. Really gave us a cushion. Didn't think our defense was very good in the first half. We fouled way too much, but our offense was able to get fouled as well. So we were able to kind of stymie any runs that were made. We made free throws. Second half, again, Jawan, in the time that he's on the floor, was just pretty much unstoppable in this game, and he gave us a big boost to push that lead out to 23, and I thought we were able to comfortably, work through the game. We had a lot of different guys step up and play. I thought Devontae, for about the third game in a row, has really played with a lot of confidence, and I thought that, in general, Rob, again, 4 assists, 1 turnover, continues to really do a good job commanding the floor for us. So for us, caps off our regular season, and we know we're playing on Thursday in the Big Ten tournament, and I think we're excited about that.
Okay, Bob?
Archie, you've only had Jawan for the 2 years, but what in that frame of time have you learned about him both as a player and as a person?
Well, I think the one thing about Jawan, he's an adult. I wasn't here before he got here or in the recruiting process, but from very early on, we dealt with a very mature guy. He's so coachable when it comes to asking him to do things that other guys don't want to do. He does it. And, I think at the end of the day, he's become, really, really a quality leader just because of how he operates and does his thing. And, for 2 years, we've pretty much put him in a position to be a lot of different things, but he pretty much stuffs the stat sheet as a player. There's nothing that he really can't do. He's probably had a little bit of a month here where he hasn't been able to knock the ball in as much as he normally was, in terms of percentage-wise, but he just made up for it in other ways, rebounding, blocking shots, assists. I mean, he's just a consummate team guy, and, to me, he's one of the best players in the Big Ten the last 2 years. And in our transition, he's given us a chance.
Zach?
I guess just what's his sense of urgency been like this week? I know you've talked about going one game at a time, but also recognizing what you guys are playing for here this month. You've got, I think, 45 points the last 2 games, something like 17 rebounds.
He's, seniors do one of 2 things. They either run away because it's too hard and it's on them, or they just fight, and Jawan's a fighter. Fighters fight, and he's given us unbelievable toughness on the backboard in these last 4 or 5 games where we needed to rebound. He's given us a presence this week in particular around the rim where he scored the ball. To me, I don't necessarily know what anyone else has done in the league, but I know he had one heck of a week for our basketball team in terms of being, player of the week or whatever. If he's not, then somebody else must have had an unbelievable line, because if you look at his line in these last 2 games, they're pretty impressive. So it was great to see him finish the way he did today as well. To go out like that, he deserves it. And everyone else has followed his lead, and part of what we've gotten good at here recently is we've gotten good at practice again. It helps that all of our bodies are around, and they're all kind of practicing the right way, but we also have a good vibe about us right now that they want to be in the gym, and that's really important in March. If you have a group of guys that want to be around each other, that want to be in the gym, usually good things will happen, and I think that's sort of how this team has operated here in the last 4 weeks.
Coach, you were.
Go ahead.
Why do you think Devontae's been as good as he has the last 7 games?
He's just really settled in. He's really settled in. He knows that we need him to not make flashy plays or to do anything crazy. He knows we need him to score baskets when he's open, and we need him to make plays for others. And if you could say, hey, Coach, in the last 3-4 wins, what's the difference? What's going on? He's a big part of it. He really is. He's given us an added backcourt guy that can come in and he's getting double figures, or he's making good passes. Defensively, he's getting steals. He's getting his hands on some balls. But without question, last 3 games, Michigan State, Illinois, and here, he's been excellent in terms of just playing the game the right way.
Coach, you were 23 of 29 at the foul line. How important it was not just that you're making them, but that you're getting there 29 times?
We get fouled. I don't think getting fouled is our problem. Obviously, I think making free throws at times has been our problem, but that was a big part of today's game. There was a lot of fouls called. Rutgers was able to kind of stay in the game, I felt, because we were fouling too much. They made their free throws. So instead of it being 14-15, it was 8, 9, 10. But we got fouled as well. And I thought that our guys went to the line, especially in the first half. I think we were 14 for 18 in the first half, maybe, something like that. That was a big deal for our team.
Kind of playing off of that a little bit, it seems like obviously you got 40 in the paint tonight.
How much better is this team getting the shot at once as opposed to settling for something?
We're doing a much better job of running our offense. I think Rob's done a good job of really setting the table for guys and getting into stuff. Teams have played us a lot of different ways. They're sagging off, not giving shots, going under every screen. I think our guys have started to do a better job looking at film and kind of seeing what's going on, and we're adapting. You see a lot more assists. You see a lot more open looks. And I think, at the end of the day, it's not as robotic, it's not as stale. There's a lot more movement. I think it's helped us. But, to our guys' credit, they're starting to really, execute a little bit better as well. When you look at our turnovers, 13 turnovers for the week, this week as a team, that's big time.
Just, I guess, reflecting on the last week and looking ahead to Big Ten tournament, what's it going to take to make you feel comfortable with what you guys have done to earn an at-large bid?
We're going to have to win. We're going to have to win not one game, not two games. We're going to have to try and win as many games as we can. And that's how you control your own deal. And that's pretty much what we focused in on right now. It's not about the tournament. It's not about the NCAA tournament right now. There isn't anybody putting you in until the thing's over. So for us, can we get better? Can we be the same team we've been the last 3 weeks? Is anyone going to take their focus off? Are we going to lose somebody to, lackadaisical? Just, do we get distracted? There's a huge thing about teams when they're in a good rhythm. Distractions and now talking about other things. We haven't been able to talk about anything but survival, for a long time. And that's sort of why we're here, is because we've kind of said there isn't really anything other than to just do it. We have to do it the right way. And we have a good attitude right now. So take that to Chicago. We'll feel good about it.
Archie, playing off of that, in these past 4 wins, you found different ways to win. You've got it out the close wins, you've had dominant efforts like today. How important is that going into the Big Ten tournament, that you've been able to adapt and find different ways to win in these different scenarios?
Yeah, we're not, we've been in some grinders, obviously. We've been in overtime games. We've been in leads now, holding leads, the last couple. We've been in some tough ones, whether it's Purdue or Iowa, some just heartbreakers that you were right there. And I think we've been in all types of situations and circumstances. I think the one thing that feels good as a staff right now is we're not so, restricted with our lineup anymore. I think that's helped us being able to say, hey, this guy's not playing as well, or there's foul trouble, and not being so insecure about your bench. I feel like our bench has really been a good boost here in our last 4 or 5 games. I think that's the thing that you have to take into the next step with your team as you get into postseason play. You're playing teams sometimes for the 2nd or 3rd time in the Big Ten tournament, and you're going to need a lot of different types of hustle plays and just effort plays, and guys coming in being able to play whatever amount of minutes were tonight when Jawan was in foul trouble, or being able to win the Wisconsin game with 2 guys fouling out. That's what I think has really sort of helped this team the most, is being able to have, more guys that you're able to readily throw in that you feel good about. And I think without question, there's been some guys really picked up, their level of play over the course of the last couple of weeks. But we also have, in my opinion, more, if you want to call them weapons, but more things we can do to not be so restricted.
Coach, you had 3 straight games over a half with 2 turnovers, and the ball security has been phenomenal. How important has that been to this turnaround for this team?
It's huge, that and rebounding. But I would say the turnovers in particular this week, when you look at our margin of victories in both games, that plays a huge role, not turning the ball over. Rob plays a big part of that. When you have a point guard who plays 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes a game, and, May had his first turnover, and I don't know how long, just today, but he controls things for us, and he's steady, and that helps us. It gives us some confidence that we know what we're doing, and the other guys aren't having to make as many crazy plays. I think everyone feels good about the niche that they have. But the turnover has been great, but also the rebound is so big in this next step. You have to rebound the ball, and I think today's the first time we got out rebounded in our last 4, but we were there for the most part. Gave up some second shots in the second half, and Rutgers is a very good rebounding team, but it wasn't minus 13 like it was the first time we played them. It was pretty even the whole way. So those are the 2 big things going into the tournament that you can control. Can't control how you shoot, you can't control who's injured, but you can control if you're rebounding and if you're not turning it over.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.